really have no idea how else to explain this theory. I have spent so long working on a way to make my brain a less cynical and just angry ass place, because honestly, it's been a long time coming, but so many of the theories and things that I was reading online and listening to just weren't clicking for me, so I had to create my own little theory to make it make sense for me. So let's get into it. If you don't know me, my name is Haley. I'm your brain and body healing bestie. You can also listen to all of my videos in podcast format under Healing with Hale on Spotify. You don't get to look at my cute face, which is like obviously a con, but if you hate me, that's fine. I get it. It's okay. Welcome back to Healing with Hale, where we talk about everything we need to help us heal, feel, and train our way into a stronger brain and body. Today, we're going to crack open a nice little drink here. I've got my mushroom cup again. I'm telling you, I'm just obsessed with this. Like, as I spill that literally everywhere, nice. I can't lie, I've been more of a poppy girly lately. They're just really doing it for me. Like, all of their flavors are just hitting. This is the last Olipop that I've purchased, and I don't know if I'm going to buy anymore. I don't know. I just think they do it a little bit better. Like, and I can say that because obviously I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I think Poppy is better. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I know that everybody's brains work a little bit differently, but honestly, some of the analogies and theories and things around mindset and improvement and all that stuff just don't click with me. They're either really cheesy or they just like go over my head, or they're just in one ear out the other. It's just not meshing. And as someone who's aware that I had a deep-rooted negative mindset, I knew that I had to figure out something that would actually make sense for me. So looking into the science of beliefs and things like that, we know that a belief starts as an idea. And because our brains work on something called confirmation bias, which means that it's constantly looking to confirm any thought that we have, it's kind of like the red car theory, where it's like, oh, when you think about a red car, you're suddenly going to start seeing them everywhere, because our brains are looking for more of what we're thinking about. So once we have a thought that's confirmed over and over and over again, it becomes a belief. And I recently heard a quote by Alex Hormozy, which I'm obsessed with him. I just love his content, 10 out of 10. But he said, I'm probably going to butcher this, but something along the lines of, we question all of our beliefs except for the ones that we truly believe, which we don't question at all. And that makes so much sense when you really think about how our brains work with confirmation bias and things like that, because once something is so confirmed in our brain is like, we don't even have to question that. We've proved it right so many times. We've just been confirming this over and over again. Now that's a core belief. And our brains are so amazing for this if you really think about it, but it can be detrimental to us if we aren't aware of it and if we don't know what's happening. And that's because our brains are also going to do this for any negative thought that we have about ourselves, about the world, about other people, about anything at all. So if you have a small thought that's like, I feel like people don't like me, which this was something that I used to really struggle with, and say if I would be out at a bar or something, I would get it into my head like, oh, nobody even wants me here. They just invited me because they have to. They don't even like me. Like, they hate me, whatever. And then because I thought that thought in my brain, suddenly my brain is trying to prove this thought right. So in that moment that I'm thinking about that, I would look up to go talk to my friend, and maybe she would be on her phone and like laughing at her phone. So then that's confirming, because my brain is looking for reasons to confirm it. Now suddenly I'm like, oh my God, she's literally texting about how much she hates me right now. Like, that's what she's doing. And then I would go turn and try to talk to some of my other friends. And then if they're both laughing with each other about something completely unrelated, in that moment, my brain is going to be like, they're literally laughing at you. Like, they are talking about how stupid you are. That's exactly what's happening. And so you're just confirming all of these thoughts. And even things that don't make any sense, our brain is searching to confirm it, because that's what it's meant to do. It wants to prove us right. It wants us to be confirmed about whatever we're thinking about. And it sounds kind of crazy when you say it out loud, and that's because it kind of is. Like, it's an insane concept that our brains actually do this for anything that we're thinking about. But it's times like that when your brain is doing it for negative thoughts, that's when you start spiraling into a bad mood, where you're like, I'm having such a bad day, I'm having such a terrible week, my month sucks, whatever. And it's probably just because you started with a thought like, oh, this day sucks. And then your brain is like, oh, you said it sucks? Cool, we're gonna figure out how to make it suck more, because we're gonna just focus on everything that's bad that's happening to you. And it's kind of like when people say, did you have a bad day, or did you have a bad 5 minutes that you milked all day? That's a little bit harsh and a little dramatic, but it's kind of true when you think about it, because you're technically not milking it, but your brain is confirming that bad 5 minutes. It's like, you want to focus on that? Then that's what we're going to do. We're going to just keep thinking about reasons that we're confirming that this day sucks. So what I've done to make this make sense for myself, and I really have no idea how else to explain this theory, but I imagine the inside of my brain as a bunch of little meters. So kind of like the meters on your car, like the little fuel tank thingy, like the empty to full, whatever it is. I imagine a bunch of those all over my brain. And we have so many thoughts that go through our head every single day, but I feel like only some of them become an idea. Your brain is just constantly thinking and thinking. Every once in a while you have a moment where you're like, oh, that's a conscious thought. Like that's something that I just thought of. And those are the things that your brain is really pulling to either confirm or deny. So if you looked in the mirror this morning and you were like, I don't like my makeup today, and then maybe you walked out of your room and your brother was like, what the fuck is wrong with your face? That's gonna add a notch down to the negative side of your meter. But then maybe your sister's like, oh my God, I love how you did your eyebrows today. That's gonna add it back to neutral. But then if your mom is like, hey girl, let's lay off the makeup a little bit, that's adding it back down. So you are just slowly adding and subtracting things to these meters to try to either confirm or deny this thought. And then maybe you forget about it for a few weeks and days go by, and then a few weeks later somebody's like, I don't like your lipstick today. Like, what are you doing with it? Like, that's not a good color on you. Your brain is suddenly going to be like, oh my God, remember that meter that we started? Let's add another notch back down to the negative side. So you're just slowly adding and subtracting things until one day this meter is either going to be fully to one side or fully to the other. And that's going for literally any thought that you have. Versus if you woke up this morning and you didn't think a single thing at all about your makeup, and then somebody said those same comments to you, it's not going to confirm or deny anything because that's not a thought that you already had. You would just be completely unfazed if it's not something that you already thought about, because that would be like if somebody walked up to you and was like, I love your pink shirt, but you're wearing a black shirt today. It's gonna go right over your head because you're like, the fuck is this bitch talking about? Like, where did that come from? Because a lot of times in life when we get hurt by something, or we're like, that person said something so mean, or like, I can't believe they would say that, why would they do that to me? What they said shouldn't actually hurt you unless you believe what they said about you. So if somebody's like, oh my God, you're so short, but you know that you're 6'2", you're gonna be like, no, like, you're stupid, you sound dumb, and you're jealous. That's literally it, and you're gonna go on and move about your day. Versus if you were like, oh, I'm 6'2", and you were always self-conscious about it because you were like, oh my God, guys aren't gonna like me, and then a guy is like, wow, you're so tall, that's gonna be a negative thought for you because you're like, you already have that meter that's set up in your head that's trying to confirm or deny this thought. Does that make any sense? This confirmation bias is just so insane when you really understand it and start to notice it happening in your life, because you are going to 100% see little things in your day where your brain is trying to do this. So how do we fix a meter that is all the way down to the negative side? For me, I feel like money is a huge one that I have a lot of negative beliefs about, and I've been really working to try to get that just fixed a little bit because it's not fun. It's not a fun time. And so when I imagine my money mindset meter, I imagine that all the way down, like in the depths of hell. Like it is all the way negative. She's deep down in there. But because I have this visualization to go off of, I kind of imagine it like every time that I make a better thought about money, or I switch my belief, or I do something that is in contrast to how I used to act around money, I imagine the notch going up just one little tick. One tiny tick at a time. I used to be so broke and so bad with money that even spending money on necessities when I had the money would make me angry and frustrated, and I would be like, this is so stupid, I'm wasting my money, I'm wasting this, whatever. And so now every single time that I'm spending money on something either that I need or even on something that I want, instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm wasting this, I can't believe I'm spending this money, this is so annoying, like blah, 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 I try to just think about all of the good things that are going to come from whatever I'm buying. If I'm getting food, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have such good meals with this. Like, I'm going to be so happy that I can meal prep throughout my week and that I don't have to cook a bunch of food every single day. Just making small little decisions that are changing that super negative notch down there up one every single time. And my goal for all of the negative beliefs is actually just to get them to neutral. It's not to get them all the way to the positive side yet. We are trying to get them to neutral because, and this might be a controversial opinion, but my issue with affirmations is that so many of them are too positive for where you're at the very moment. Taking my money mindset beliefs again, if I were to start just saying every single day, I'm a millionaire, money loves me, money flows to me every single day, I'm always getting money, my brain would literally be like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? Like, you sound so stupid. You are literally not even close to a millionaire. And then it's actually gonna make me focus more on the fact that I'm not a millionaire because, again, confirmation bias, my brain is hearing that and it's looking to either confirm or deny something. So when I say I'm a millionaire, my brain is going, absolutely not, that's wrong, we're gonna deny it. So it's just proving against that because I'm saying something that's just not even possible for my brain to comprehend in that moment. So that's why it's so important to start with affirmations that you can actually believe. I like to think of it like stepping stones when it comes to affirmations. So you start with something that's literally a fact. So for instance, when I first started going to the gym, I was super insecure. I had no idea what I was doing. I wholeheartedly had a belief that every single person in that gym thought that I was ugly, thought that I was stupid, thought that I had no idea what I was doing, which I really didn't know what I was doing. But it still was a mindset that I needed to get out of in order to end up doing what I am now. So my first affirmation was something that was completely neutral. It was literally just, I lift weights now. Because that is a fact. That is something that my brain can go, oh, okay, you did lift a weight today, so that's true. We'll allow it. Like, that's cool. We're gonna move a notch up. We believe it now. But I didn't say anything like, I lift weights every single day, or I love my body, I am obsessed with weightlifting, because none of those things were true yet at that moment. So I had to work my way up to things that are more believable, maybe a little bit more positive, and slowly getting up to there, because when I first started, if I were to just be like, I love my body and I love weightlifting, absolutely not. I would have never stepped foot back in the gym. And you can apply this to literally any topic. So for instance, with money, you might start with your neutral affirmation as something like, I make money every single month. And if you have a job, that's something that your brain can be like, that's facts, that does happen, we will allow it, it's okay. And you're slowly just increasing those affirmations to something like, maybe you put a number on it. Maybe you're eventually gonna be like, I make $3,000 every single month. Even if that's your lowest amount, you're gonna start with that number because your brain is gonna be like, that's true. There's never been a month that we haven't made that. So we believe that. And then you're slowly just increasing your threshold for what your brain is like, okay, yeah, no, that's true. We believe it, it's cool. And then once you get to neutral, this is where all the fun happens. I really think this is where you can actually start to heal something, because when you're trying to heal something from that super negative side, it's actually probably gonna do you more harm than good. Because if you start trying to get into those super deep shadow work prompts, or like journal prompts, or even like some therapies, your brain is gonna be like, whoa, like this is just actually making me feel worse, because I'm just realizing how much further back I am than I thought I was. And your brain is just gonna keep focusing on the negative sides of things. But if you start your healing process, or if you start doing journal prompts, meditations even, things like that from a neutral perspective, you're gonna have a much easier time actually looking at things from an unbiased perspective and being like, okay, I can see why I had those thoughts. I can see like where that came from. And some of the most basic, I feel like, journal prompts or questions or things you can ask yourself once you get to neutral are even just things like, where did this belief come from? When did this start? What things have confirmed this for me? Were there other people that confirmed this for me? Was I taught this? Like, where did this come from? And just trying to figure that out, because this is going to be completely different for everybody. But once you figure out where it came from, you can start to kind of backtrack and slowly reprogram those thoughts. I really think that the beauty of this theory is that it helps you become a watcher of your thoughts, and that is a whole nother deep dive in itself. But I highly recommend reading The Power of Now if you never have, because it just, chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. I love it. But you will really be able to see, like, when you have a new thought, it's gonna start as neutral, and you're gonna kind of almost like really see it in your brain, like when it happens, and you're gonna think, oh my God, I can actually see how my brain is trying to confirm or deny this thought when I first have it. And it's so crazy, because you're really gonna see that when you first have a thought, your brain is truly trying to just figure out how to confirm or deny this thought. Jesus, take a shot every time I said confirm or deny in this video, my God. But you are really gonna be able to notice it and pick up on it and see when your brain is swaying one way or another. And then if you switch your thoughts in that moment, which is super easy to do when you're like in more of a neutral state, or if it's like a new idea or something like that. So if you're on a more neutral stage and then you're starting to have a bad day and you notice that your brain is trying to look for all the bad things, like, oh, I have a stain on my shoe, or like, oh, my coffee isn't right today, and then you switch that to the other side, maybe focusing on the positives, you will literally notice how your brain is suddenly going to focus on all of the positives that are happening to you. It is the most insane thing you will ever experience. So the goal here is to get all of our thoughts up to neutral on everything that we can, so that we can start doing some real deep healing, kind of figuring out where it came from, how to fix it, what we personally need to change those thoughts and rewire them, and then we can focus on maybe getting to the positive side. But that is a literal lifelong journey. So, and once you're at neutral, it's so much easier to go to the positive side. I swear. That is all that I've got for you today, but please let me know if this makes sense to you, and if so, please share it with a friend, with a stranger, with an acquaintance, whoever. And as a shameless self-promo, my fitness and mindset app is now live, which is so exciting, but you can try your free trial out right now, or you can just play around and see all the things that I have for free. I've got some journal prompts that are available completely for free. You just have to log in. There's some recipes available. You can just toy around, see what you can find. Until next time, be kind to your mind, to your body, and to others, and happy healing. Today we're gonna crack open, oh, I was really hoping I was gonna crack that right on the